For anything beautiful to happen, I believe three things have to occur. First, you need an individual with a passion. He has to have a belief in something. That person then needs to have a conviction that his belief is correct, that he can find a way to make the world better through this belief. And the last part is you need courage.
One of the things with First Things Foundation that we figured out from the start is that when we were together at the table, it was beautiful. But the question that sort of comes out is, what is beauty? That's the question that everybody sort of asks deep in their heart. We all know what it is, but we often can't identify it.
People know what they need to make their lives and people around them better. For First Things Foundation, that's where we start. We go into a community without the impression that we know what they need for their lives. We show up, we listen, we make relationships, and then we just offer anything that we can do to remove obstacles and get them to achieve their passions.
This is the only solution that can actually work long term. Otherwise, it's people sitting in a boardroom imposing their opinions on a local area, and that backfires all the time.
We sent $52 billion in 2011, $52 billion. $39 billion of that was in direct development assistance. Billions of dollars, yet what happens? Number of hungry people around the world goes up. Poverty's not particularly being reduced by this money. In fact, there is no relationship. There's no correlation between USAID and decreased poverty. It's the other way around. The countries that are poor are getting more poor. What's happening? What's happening? Regular old people in Mali, Sierra Leone, Indonesia, Guatemala, regular old people, they don't have access to the monies that are being created at the government levels. And one of the reasons they don't have access is because the model isn't meant for them. The model is meant government to government.
What's special about FTF is the focus is people. It's about love, but it's very authentic love. It's not made up love. It's people who have lived and experienced life in foreign lands and make true connection. And they try to bring that connection, that love back here to the United States because people crave it.
Governments talk to governments different than people talk to people. An example of what we try to avoid at First Things Foundation happened in Chad back in 2008. $1 billion came in, actually $4 billion came into Chad to create oil. What they actually created were about 4 or 5 different militias to protect about 5 or 6 different politicians. They never really got oil out, and the whole project became a farce. Now, that's big money, that's big development. We start small, but we grow from the bottom up, and we think it's more effective.
When we're in these countries, we're assessing needs, looking at the viability of one of our site coordinators calling these places home. I've actually been gone the last 8 months in 4 countries, across 3 continents, and doing this exact work. Writing site assessments, creating a budget for immersion. All these things check out, we then call these places home. Then we start going to work trying to find these site coordinators and finding people that are going to be ideally situated for these unique spots.
It requires enormous amounts of patience. And it's the kind of patience that it's not standing in line at the grocery store. It's a loneliness that you have to overcome through the act of relating to others and speaking their language. It's very important. Most international aid organizations won't do this. They won't place people on the ground for long periods of time. One, it's not really that expensive. The big problem with it is it's seen as inefficient, but I think it's the opposite. It's super efficient.
If an economy becomes solid, becomes healthy, that can lead to all the other things that you're wanting in your life. All humans have our basic needs that need to be met. And when that happens, we are then able to move forward and to do good things.
Multinational corporations and First Things Foundations, we can work together because they bring value to the community in terms of business, but we bring value to the community in terms of sustainable development. When they leave, we stay. That's value.
We're looking to identify people who want to change their life for the better by immersing into the lives of others. Basically standing in the shoes of those they aim to assist. We can then offer, by being private, is by then being able to really make connections. Our site coordinator stands in between two worlds, all right? And it's not just East and West, it's not just people who can donate and those people who want donations.
Our OS, the DI, the project certification, all these steps are really just fancy terms for what immigrants have done in this country for 100 years, 200 years, which is come, find what works, and then are free to go about it and do it and accomplish it. But the immigrant who comes would never be thought of as an international development agent, but he would be thought of as an attribute for American society. That's what we are in that culture. Even if we don't go over and start building stuff, because we're going to integrate.
I was told a secret of success one time that says, always be a beginner. And to me, that's the essence of humility. Any situation you go into, you can't assume that you know what's best. It's truly about understanding both worlds, all right, much like Peace Corps, but then we truly try to add that entrepreneurship component.
Relief is different from development. It's going to take time and patience, but he's going to find those entrepreneurs. He's going to find those socially responsible people, the social entrepreneurs. He's going to make relationships, and then magic happens, slowly but surely, on the ground. To impact investors, we say this will change people's lives.
FTS using social entrepreneurship to reunite the human family. That's their vision.
That's First Things Foundation, why we exist.